What's up, everybody? I am not in the studio today. This is Alternative Influence Coaching, and I am Terry, just in case you forgot. I like to make jokes on camera.
There you go.
And today, I'm hanging out with my good buddy Roy, and I think it's important that Roy give you a little bit of background. Roy, tell these fine people how I know you and what you're up to.
We were in the same beard club.
And you're winning.
No, so, I'm co-owner of Barbell VooDoo. We make t-shirts and shorts and hats and belts and knee sleeves and socks and
Pants and shorts.
All those things.
I feel like you already said that.
I did, right? No, so we've been doing this for 7 years, based, of course, out of the Nashville area. It's the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. How'd you get into this? Oh.
It's also a funny story.
I like that.
Have you ever heard this story?
I don't know I have.
All right, so powerlifting's my background. I competed in powerlifting for around 9 years. And as you get older, dropping weight to make weight class got more and more difficult.
Sure.
So, the normal go stand on a treadmill for 45 minutes and, eat little or nothing for 3 days and make weight didn't work anymore. And I was close to 40 at this point, maybe 38-ish, 39-ish. And I'm like, man, I'm not even close to making weight for this powerlifting competition. So I'm sitting at home, ESPN's on, and they're airing an old CrossFit games, whatever.
Like a rerun.
And I don't even know if I'd heard of CrossFit at this point. So this was 9 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. Anyway, so watch this. I'm like, wow, these guys are strong, and they have abs. So let's start Googling all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was literally there was a CrossFit gym at the end of my neighborhood. The neighborhood ends up around a shopping center right over there. I'm like, well, I'm going to go give this a shot. So I go over there and I sign up. And I'm like, hey, what's your goal? I was like, literally, I have to lose 8 pounds to make weight for a powerlifting competition. And he's like, oh, come Thursday night, whatever, you'll enjoy it. Well, I'm thinking they're squatting and deadlifting and bench pressing and there's literally none of that stuff. So I walk in, first day it's pull-ups and walking lunges. And I'm like, I can't do any of this stuff, right? So we scale it, and I enjoyed it, and I went right back, So anyway, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm a big guy. I'm still a big guy. And I was like, hey, I would love to have one of the gym shirts from here. He's like, okay, cool. They're under the cabinet, the desk there. Just grab your size and then let me know. We'll write it down, charge your account or whatever. Okay, cool. There's 2 piles of shirts. Medium, large. Okay, well, that's great. I'm a 2X. So he's like, yeah, we never order 2Xs. I'm like, oh, you don't, really? I was like, let me ask you a question. I said, what's most people's goal when they come sign up at your gym? He's like, weight loss. Don't you think you should carry fat guy shirts?
That's a solid question.
It's a solid question.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, you know what? I'll just print my own shirt. And that's literally how it started.
Really?
That's how it started. So
Screw you guys. I'm going home to make my own shirt.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. I'm like, I'll just make my own shirt. So this goes on and on and on for months and months and months. And my business partner, Jeremy, was going to the gym. And me and him would always end up getting paired up together, right? So, and I would tell him, man, I got this idea. I'm going to print some shirts and screw these people here and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, why don't you just do it? Or what's stopping you? And finally calls me out on it. I'm like, well, I don't think I got the money. He's like, well, how much could it actually cost to print shirts? I'm like, I don't know, it's like $250. He's like, all right, cool. So we go about finishing our workout that Saturday. I come home. He lives in our same neighborhood here. And about 45 minutes later, my wife comes in the bathroom. I just got a shower. She said, hey, somebody's at the front door. I'm like, okay. My wife never answers the front door. I don't know what the deal is. So I, put my clothes on, go to the front door, and it's Jeremy. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, here's $125, partner. See you later. That's how our partnership started. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he called my bluff. I got to go.
I love it.
Ordered 28 shirts because that's all we had the money for.
Right.
Took them to the gym. Sold out the first day. Oh, well, we're on to something.
Yeah, you are.
Took the money, doubled it. That's how it started.
And here we are.
Yep.
That's amazing.
7 years later.
I love that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That, man, if you've been listening to the vlog for any amount of time, to me, the simplicity of that,
Yeah.
that is great. It's a great story. We overcomplicate this. We overcomplicate being an entrepreneur to no end. I mean, there's books, there's courses, there's all of these things, but there's just simply there's ambition and a little bit of fire under your butt.
Yeah, that's about all.
And you can get anything done, really. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. So, in that vein, that is why Roy is here. We are simplifying. Being an entrepreneur with the list 10 things that require zero talent. So I asked Roy to come in and chime in on a couple of these. And today, he's picked how to stay positive or being positive.
Being positive or staying positive.
Yeah, one would assume that you're positive already. So,
well, I think we have the propensity for trying to be positive, and depending on how your day is going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I can tell you this as an entrepreneur, I can tell you this from my side because I don't know how everybody else's brain works. But I always call it the bipolar, because man, I am killing it. Everything's going great. 2 days later, you're like, screw this, I'm out. Is that normal?
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
Me.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's not just me.
That roller coaster,
it's
emotional roller coaster.
it is, and so I'm gonna start with this saying, and you can use an analogy, and I've used this actually talking to my wife the other day. So there's a thermometer, and then there is a thermostat. So if you think about the thermometer, the thermometer takes the temperature of the room and just matches it. So say, for instance, the room's negative. People complaining, bad mood, unhappy. Everybody's pissy. It matches that, and that's where it's at. And people are that way. That if they're around people that are negative Nancys, they become the negative Nancy. The opposite of that would be the thermostat. The thermostat changes whatever the temperature in the room is. It changes the environment around it. So you walk into the room, everybody's being negative. You're like, that doesn't work for me. I'm going to start smiling at people. Hey, how's it going? I do this in the grocery store. Walk past people. Hey, how's it going? How you doing today?
Why's that guy talking to me?
Why's that guy talking to me? But it changes. You walk past somebody and smile. Of course, they wouldn't see you now because we all wear masks. But if you're not wearing a mask,
smile with your eyes.
Yeah. But you walk past somebody and smile, and then they're like, "Man, hey, a smile back,
yeah.
right?" So that's just really important that you are aware of those two scenarios, and don't let yourself be the thermometer.
Right.
Just be like, you know what, I'm going to change how this works, and I'm going to be the thermostat.
Right. Lead a little bit in that area.
Yeah.
So in how it reflects to business, you were telling me a couple months ago an amazing story. Like, it's both a pivot story, but it's also how you were able to process what you were feeling and make a plan. And it leads right into you being the thermostat. So
Right.
tell me, tell everyone at home, because I think this is such an important. It was an inspiring thing to me. Definitely walked away encouraged. So if
Yeah.
you can share with everybody else.
So we go to a lot of events. I mean, it's been our bread and butter. We were getting ready to go to the Arnold Classic in 2020. Ramping up for the Arnold Classic, the booth by itself is $5,500. In order to make your money back, you have to have a ton of stuff. So we spent 10 grand on product to sell. So, we're in $16,000 at this point ish. Plus we had someone we were flying in, and we're flying somebody in. We have hotel rooms booked. All this, right? Tuesday night. So the Arnold starts on a Friday. We leave Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Tuesday night, watching NBA, waiting on game 2 to start. I don't remember who's playing. It's not important. But waiting on game 2 to start, and this keeps dragging on. I'm like, man, they're talking an awful long time. They're not really saying anything. And I think I maybe had the sound turned down or something. So I turned the sound up, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. A ref or a player popped for COVID. And we're just learning about COVID at this point. This is March 3rd, 4th, somewhere in there, right? No events in the country had been canceled at that point.
Right.
Nothing had been canceled. March Madness was just about to happen. All this stuff's going on, right? So this was the very first event that had gotten kiboshed.
Right.
So I see that happen, and they're like, we're canceling tonight's game. And I'm like, oh, boy. Knowing in 2 days I'm leaving for the Arnold.
Right.
And how much is on the line as a company, right?
Yeah.
So Wednesday comes. Don't hear anything all day. I've watched the news nonstop. Haven't heard a thing. And actually, the first notification I got was another vendor sent me a text with a video link to a news press conference in Columbus. I thought it was a joke. I'm like, is he screwing with me?
It's not funny. It's not funny, man.
Not funny. No. I think I even replied, not funny. He's like, have you heard? So I watched the news conference, and they were talking about canceling the Arnold. Little nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
No word from the Arnold. So this would have been 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to dinner around 8 with some friends. On the way, get an email from the Arnold. Instantly, before I even open it, I'm like, ugh. I'm so sick.
Suddenly not so hungry.
Yeah, not hungry. I read it, and they're canceling the Arnold. Okay. So this is what we have to deal with. My wife's like, what is it? I was like, they've canceled the Arnold. She's like, the whole thing? I was like, and at that moment, I think they had canceled the whole thing. I was like, yep, they have. So you get a refund? I'm like, it's not, doesn't say anything about that in the
They
email.
left that out of the email.
Yeah.
Classically.
She's like, what are you going to do? Going to go eat this steak, have some drinks. I'll figure it out tomorrow morning. And that's what I did. Went, I allowed myself that amount of time to be stressed a little. I was oddly not as freaked out as I thought I would be at the moment. Drank a few, maybe too many. Come home, went to bed, and when I woke up the next morning, I knew what my plan was.
Yeah.
So thinking ahead, because I was getting the whole time we were at dinner and on the way home, I was getting DMs from other apparel vendors who had booths at the Arnold, like, what do we do? What are we going to do? Have you heard anything? I haven't heard anything. I saw this. Have you seen this video? Same video.
Same video, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I haven't heard anything. Like, what are you going to do? I was like, I don't know. I guess we'll throw up a sale or something. I mean, what else can you do?
Right.
So this is, that was Wednesday. Thursday, And I text my business partner that night. I said, "Hey, we've canceled the Arnold." He's like, "Yeah, I just heard. What are we going to do?" He's like, "I'll tell you tomorrow. I don't know. I'm just getting hammered right now." So, thinking ahead, I'm like, okay, the Arnold normally starts on a Friday. If you're a vendor, you're going to throw up some crazy ass sale Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the Arnold to try to recoup as much of this as you can. Because it's huge, man. There's 1,000 vendors, probably 150 clothing vendors. There's not a whole lot of margin in clothing, so every sale is important. I was like, well, if everybody else would do that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what if I start mine on Thursday? That's what I did. Woke up first thing Thursday morning. Already kind of had in my mind what I wanted to say, and I stepped out as I kind of sit behind the curtain, and I stepped out. I was like, "Hey, I'm one of the owners of Barbell VooDoo. This is what's going on. We're scared. We could be out of business tomorrow. Literally, you have 30 days, right, to pay your bills. And I'm like, we need your help. Our loss, your gain. Here's the big ass sale. Please go buy as much as you can." And we made our money on Thursday. So Friday morning, we're like, okay, we're whole.
That's cool. Yeah, that's
right.
so cool. Yeah.
So we took from there on out. We donated our time downtown to help clean up tornado relief, because that had happened on Tuesday as well.
That was a crazy week in Nashville.
Gosh, yeah.
I don't know where y'all from, but it was a crazy week in Nashville for sure.
So nuts. But yeah, so I mean, and I think it's good to allow yourself that time to, freak out, mourn,
process,
but you got to compartmentalize it, put it in a box. Okay, I'm going to allow myself these 12 hours to freak out. The opposite of that is if you don't cut it off, and I'm freaking out about the Arnold and everything going on around it, and take zero action, well, then at the end of that weekend, or at the end of that weekend, the big opportunity and all the hoopla going on around the Arnold is over, and I haven't capitalized on anything. Well, I've still got that 10,000 due.
For sure, yeah.
So the worrying and the stressing and the freaking out did zero to help us out.
Move you forward.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to drink a few drinks. Tomorrow morning when I get up, all hands on deck. Let's go forward.
Yeah, that's such a huge example. Like, we talked earlier about your simplicity as you did your intro when you talked about starting the business, but I love how that kind of carries through. It's like you've given yourself a deadline. There is, bad news. There's still fear. There's still emotion. You're still feeling it. Like, we're not trying to. We may look tough, right?
No.
But we don't. It's not like we don't feel these things and have these emotions are huge in business. And I would appreciate the way that you do that. Like, I'm going to take this advice whether you guys do or not. The deadline is so important. Allow yourself to feel it, and then let's get back to work.
Yeah.
Being the leader, being the thermostat in the room.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to, because sometimes, and you may not know it, how many people are looking to you for, well, what's Terry going to do? Mm-hmm. I'm going to wait and see how Terry reacts, and however he reacts, I'll follow suit.
Yeah.
Well, if you're oh my God, the sky's falling, well, then guess what? They're doing the same thing.
Everybody's doing the same thing.
But if you're like, yep, that sucks, guys. All right, everybody grab a hold of the wagon. Let's move forward. Mm-hmm. You heard Terry. Let's go.
Let's go. Yep. So that's not, we talked about processing. What's another way in which you've processed fear, sadness, or like?
Yeah. So we had a dog pass away. And it was hard. I mean, it is, me and my wife don't have kids. Yeah. We have pit bulls, and they are our children. They are spoiled. They get everything they want and need. And yeah, I mean, the one that passed away was my child, and it was beyond hard to deal with. And I was super sad, and she got cancer, and it was a really quick 14 days. She got sick. We took her to the animal hospital, and we did anything and everything that they would allow us to do. Some things they didn't even recommend. I said, do it anyway, just to try to get her to the other side. Mm-hmm. And nothing worked. So, we lost her. And it was hard. Man, it was really hard. It was harder than I expected it to be, which is, I don't know what that says, how I feel about people, but my dogs, I love them. And, yeah. And I set a limit. I'm going to allow myself to mourn, and mourn hard, mm-hmm. and deep. But at the end of that, that's it. So I know it was right at the end of it. I remember I got in the car and went on a long drive, and when I come back, I was done. And what's funny is I did this consciously this time. When my father passed away, when we had already bought this house, so this was 7 years ago, I did the same thing unconsciously. So my father had COPD, and totally was not believing anything the doctor said. He's like, yeah, they're putting me on hospice. I should make it another 5 years. Like, dude, if you're on hospice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's we're toward the end, right? And so I went down and saw him, and literally he passed away the next day.
Wow.
And my wife went with me, and of course I'm sad. It's my dad, and it's a long story. Not a great situation, but there was like a couple of keepsakes I wanted. I got nothing. Like stuff had been stolen or whatever. So literally I came home with memories and some photos and like a couple of things that he had given me, years ago. And I got home, and she's like, what do you want to do? I was like, so my dad, like one of his favorite things was like these greasy spoon breakfast places. I'm not a breakfast guy. Like toast and coffee, just get out of my way, or some oatmeal and coffee.
Just get out of my way.
But so we got up the next morning, went to it. We found a greasy hole in the wall in Franklin. Went there and had some terrible breakfast. And I came home and emptied my garage, painted the walls, painted the floor, did it all in one day, put all my equipment back in, and I was done. I didn't realize that's what I was doing.
Right.
But that's how I was mourning, mm-hmm. and working through, and the whole time I'm painting and cleaning and scrubbing and bleaching these floors, and like all this stuff's going through your head, and memories and things you could have said and didn't say and should have said, and okay, moving forward I'll make sure not to skip those things and all these things. But I said, okay, when this garage is done, it's over. I got to move forward. Yeah. Nothing I can do at that point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you've grabbed something from this. I know I have. Like, everybody has their process. Everybody has their way to deal with emotions. What you take away from this is that the end result is you being the leader in positivity, and I think that's what we're hearing here.
Yeah.
And I thank you for sharing all that
yeah,
stuff.
Man.
Thanks for being here,
Absolutely.
guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below. Check out Roy's brand, Barbell VooDoo. You can find them where?
BarbellVoodoo.com or at Barbell VooDoo on all the social medias.
All the medias, all over the place. So there you go, guys. We're gonna talk with Roy again. So we'll catch you later. See ya.
See ya.